So, hey guys, just an FYI, I'm going to reference an email that I sent, kind of a lot that I just put together. A lot of times when I talk to loan officers about this stuff, they're like, oh my God, this is a lot. But like, to be honest with you, like all these things that I'm teaching you are things that I do and I've done, and it really helped us build our book of business. So, uh, it's not really that much. Like, one of the things I always talk to loan officers about is sometimes when you're looking at your time, like, for example, let's say you're a loan officer, you did 10 applications last month. You got a lot of time to do this stuff. That's just the reality of the situation. So you really got to hold yourself to a high standard if you really want to build a business that, that can support the lifestyle you want to live. So that's what really this is going to be all about. So let me make sure this is recording and then we'll get rolling. Oh, it looks like it is recording. Cool. So guys, first thing I want to start off with is, when you're ending your month or when you're doing transactions each month, like obviously the transaction is what gets you paid. But like what you want to do is you want to create the transaction as a seed that helps you build all kinds of other transactions off of it, right? I always like to look at business. Like I wrote a book a couple years ago. It's called Business Builds Business. What that book basically means is the more business you do, the more opportunities you get to grow a garden to build more business because you're gonna be talking to more people. You're gonna have more opportunities that build off it. So you really want to do everything possible to take one transaction or one interaction and make that be many and exponentially compounded, right? No different than investing and things like that. So what we're going to go over is really how to maximize your transaction and create checklists and make sure that you're doing all this stuff on your transactions. If you don't want to do all this stuff, it's totally up to you. But I'll tell you, like, this stuff really makes you stand out. Okay, so if you guys could reference that email. So like I said, the goal of this is to create an experience follow-up that allows you to maximize new referral partnerships, repeat clients, referrals from clients, client reviews, and social proof. Okay. So the number one thing that you always want to start off with is when you're trying to take a transaction and build other transactions off of it, you really want to focus on your client experience, your agent experience, and your title experience. So if any of you guys have done a home loan with somebody else or done like some sort of process where you have to go through something, like what creates a good customer service experience to you, if you don't mind me asking? Coach, what, like if you've done something in the past, buy real estate, whatever it may be, get a bank account, like what's a good experience like from a client perspective?
Timely communication.
Communication. Guys, literally everybody you talk to it really comes down to these two things. Set the right expectations. Like if you tell me we're going to close in a week and we close in 2 months, like you set the wrong expectations. It doesn't matter what you did, they're not going to come back to you. So you got to create the right expectation that you can meet and exceed. Number two is communication. Okay. And what I like to say is proactive communication. So what proactive communication means to me is when you are buying a house or you're doing a refinance, like we're in this all the time, but like, dude, it's a stressful experience, especially buying a house, especially moving to a new area. You're moving your family. Maybe you have to get movers, you got to go to a new school. There's all kinds of things that are happening. And we kind of don't see that all the time. And sometimes we get numb to that. But this is like a huge deal to this family that you're working with, right? And what proactive communication with for me is setting that right expectation and then answering their questions before they ask. Like you never want your client sitting there on like a Wednesday night at 12, like freaking out, sweating because they don't know what the hell is going on with their transaction. Like if that happens, like you haven't done a great job. Now, sometimes problems come up and maybe that happens because of the problem, but you should have explained the problem and trying to find solutions, right? So what I like to do is just systemize it. Like it's really hard. Like every transaction is the exact same unless a problem happens, right? You get a contract, you lock the loan. You submit the loan to underwriting, you get an approval, you get the conditions, you get the CD out, you get the appraisal. Like this, every deal is pretty much the same. So what you want to do is you want to look at that process from contract or refinance lock to closing and post-closing how can I create a 5-star experience that I can duplicate every time? And what I always recommend is just create touch points, right? Create templates. Like when I lock a loan, like I have the exact same template that I do every single time. When I submit a loan, clear to close, Tuesday updates, like just create like a system of touch points so you're constantly updating everyone involved with the transaction because that's going to make them feel good. The other thing is if a problem happens in a transaction, if you can't figure it out like within 24 hours, you got to start letting people know. Like there's so many loan officers I see that hide, and like it's just a terrible thing for your business. Like you're basically never going to work with the client again. You're never working with either agent. So take responsibility, try to find solutions. If you can't find solutions, be honest about it. Like I said, this is a stressful experience for them already. If you messed up, tell them you messed up. Like we're all people. I've messed up before myself, and you just got to come clean. Hey, I messed up. People will respect you for that. Yeah, title will badmouth you. There's so many things that can happen. So if something happens, just communicate. I always say this. I tell everybody this. Like if you're like 10 days, 2 weeks out from closing, and you're not like very confident that you're going to make that closing, I start letting people know. And one of the reasons I do that is whether you guys realize it or not, like a lot of people blame you on the transaction. Like the agent's going to blame you, the client's going to blame you, title's going to blame you. And a lot of times when you don't close a transaction on time, let's be honest, it's usually not our fault. Client's not getting in shit. They took forever to order the appraisal, things like that. So you want to give yourself an out. And what an out is if we don't make this closing on time, here's the reasons why in verbal and in writing. So if they ever come back to you about them having a bad experience, hey, just so you know, I understand we missed the closing by 2 days. I did tell you about 10 days ago that the client was not getting me in the documents that I needed to get this clear to close, which affects the whole time, right? So make sure you're creating those processes. Systemize everything. I always tell people this. Everything should follow a system. You're doing the same thing all the time. So make sure you systemize it. Okay, so first thing, like for your end of the month checklist, which is really during the month, is create a wow experience, not only for your client, but also for your agent, for title, because all those are referral partnerships that you can get. So what I want to do is just break down these by each source. We got client, we got agent, and we got title. I think someone's going to say something. $500. No? All right, cool. So first thing with your client, let's just assume your experience went great with your client. Okay, now you have a clear to close. One of the things I always do with the clear to close, I want to call the client and be super excited for them. Hey, Matt, super happy you got clear to close on your loan. Really appreciate you. So excited for you and your family, whatever it may be. That was kind of rough, but like, you want to call them and be genuinely excited because it's a big moment for them. Okay. The second thing I do is I always ask for a review at the clear to close. Okay. Why don't you think we wait until funding for the review?
Something could go wrong.
Usually at a clear to close, I'm fine, but I mean, there could be something wrong, but that's not why I personally wait.
Oh, okay.
Because if you ask for it after the transaction's over, then probably not going to do it.
Yeah, they're way less likely to do it, and even more importantly, they're busy. Like most of our business is purchase. Okay, you fund a loan, you're like moving into a house. Like you got all kinds of shit going on. You got to change the electric, you got to change the water, you got to do all this stuff. Like there's way more shit going on. Like once you're buying a house and it actually closes, than when you have a clear to close, and hopefully you have a number of days before that happens. So you want to catch them at a time where they're happy, and then also they're not so busy where, like, to be honest with you, the review is not the top thing in their mind, right? So that's why I like to do it as clear to close. You're way more likely to get one. And I'm just super simple about it. I say, hey, I ask them, I congratulate them, and I basically say, I ask them for feedback on the experience, if there's anything we could have done better. And then I just, at the end of the conversation, I say, hey, I really appreciate your business. Can you do me a huge favor? Like, anytime you ask someone to do a huge favor, like psychologically, people are like, yeah, I can do you a huge favor. And then I just say something like this. Hey, online reviews are huge for our business. When I talk to someone like yourself for the first time, people don't know me from Robert, Adam, anybody like that. So what they usually do is they Google us and try to find us online. And if you could do me a huge favor and just take a couple minutes and write a quick review about your experience with myself and our team, it's huge for our business and I would greatly appreciate it. Like if you ask it something like that, like you almost always get one, right? So what I do is I ask for it and then I text them it and then I also email them it. Okay. And I always like Google reviews over anywhere else. It's up to you where you want to put your reviews. Now you could put them on the team page or our company page if you want, or you can create your own page. Whatever you want to do is cool, but you definitely want social proof that you're a great loan officer. Not only are these building up on the page, whether it's our home page or whether your own page, but then you can also easily create testimonials that you post online, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So any questions on how to do this and why to do it at a clear close? Okay, cool. So other things you really want to do is you want to set the right expectation moving forward. Okay, number one, you want to tell them when their first payment's coming up. So I'll always say something like this. Hey, your first payment is going to be coming up in May. Usually just a few days before your May payment, you're going to get a welcome package in the mail telling you where to mail it. If for any reason you are confused in any sort of way whatsoever, let me know, call me. I'm here to help. Even after the transaction, I want to be a resource for you. Okay, you have from the 1st to the 15th to make the payment. So a lot of our customers do auto pays during that period of time. After the 15th, there's a 5% late fee. Always discuss that they get a discount for coming back to you. Okay, you guys, all these servicers are trying to refinance your clients. So if you're not doing it, somebody else did. So if I tell Antonio he just did a deal for me or deal with me, hey, like when you come back to me, you're getting a deal. Everybody wants a deal. Like if you don't tell them that, they don't know that. So, and there's so many ways you could do that. You could give them a free appraisal. You could go through like a cheaper lender. You could pay for their processing fee, whatever it is. Like you just give them some sort of deal and make sure you tell them. Okay. I also talk to them immediately about a refinance. Okay, we know most loans outside of non-QM have a 6-month EPO period. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, just so you know, we're constantly monitoring rates and we're going to contact you if we think it makes sense to look at a refinance. We need you to stay in the loan about 6 months. So I'm going to put something on our calendar so we can touch base and go over numbers in 5 months just to see if it makes sense then. And then we'll obviously monitor after that if it doesn't make sense. And I go to my Outlook calendar and I basically set up a time that's about 5 months. So basically we have a time in my calendar and then I'm going to contact them. Why do I do 5 months? What do you guys think?
So you can fund right when the 6 months is up?
Correct, right? 30 days, you fund on the 6 month, okay? The main reason we do this is there's going to be mailers that go out to them and the servicer is going to be contacting them. So you want to beat those a little bit, right? So you could even do 4.5 months if you wanted. So just make sure you're doing your best to beat those servicers and mailers that are probably going to go out to them. The other thing is that a lot of people don't do is ask your client for referrals. Anybody that's been in this business long enough, like sometimes you'll get a call and you'll be like, hey, Reggie, like just curious, like my mom wants to like refinance. Do you do refinances? And like, it's because we didn't communicate with them good enough at the closing that we do all kinds of loans. So just say, hey, super happy that you were good with it. Like super happy that we were able to be a small part of your home purchase journey here. If you have any friends or families that could benefit from my service, I would be hugely appreciative if you could send them my way, you know, and so I can offer that same 5-star service to them. So make sure you're asking, because I always say this, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Okay, always send them a thank you card or a gift. So that's part of your month-end checklist. If people close a deal with you, put something in the mail to them. I personally like thank you cards because they're cheap. And to me, like a card, like a heartfelt card's better than like I'm just not a gift person, but like everybody's different. So whatever you want to do, but I would definitely put something in the mail to them. And then I would also create follow-up systems so you stay in front of them. And I think I went over this with you guys a lot, but like I would call your clients once per quarter, text them, do something to stay in front of them at least once per quarter, either a text or a phone call. Anytime something major in the market happens, like you guys could literally do this right now. You know, rates really have dropped over the past 2 days, and anybody that's been in the business long enough knows that a rate drop usually only happens for like a week or two. Like it's usually like fairly quick, and then they kind of correct back. So you could do a slide broadcast, which is basically a ringless voicemail. You could do a mass text and just say, hey, just want to let you know rates dropped quite a bit. You know, if you'd like to take a look at a refinance, you basically just need to know, current balance. You can probably look up the rate and the payment and your credit score today. So make it super easy to put together refinance numbers. Would definitely recommend a monthly email. We send those out to you so you can utilize our template if you want or do your own, whatever, but I would definitely stay in front of them somehow with email. Connect with all your clients on social media. Super easy, but if you're posting regularly about you and your friends and your family and also your business, they can connect with you and see you all the time. So when they actually do need another transaction, it's way more likely they're going to get back to you because they see you all the time. On Facebook and LinkedIn, you can look up their birthday. I would figure out a way to reach out to them on their birthday. And then other things you can do depending on your budget and what you want to do. A lot of people like HomeBot. HomeBot, basically a monthly digest that goes over the value of their house. Social media target, which is basically creating ads specifically to them. And then also yearly events. So that's the client portion. What do you guys think? Any questions?
Pretty
Comments?
comprehensive.
All right, cool. So let's move on to the agent section. This is probably the most important one. Okay, so my ex-wife is like a pretty successful real estate agent. And one of the things I was actually talking to her probably like 6 months ago, and she's on a team that like feeds her leads. I think she closed like 20 million like a month or two or a year or two ago. And one of the things she told me is like she closed deals with multiple loan officers that were already connected to clients that contacted her. And like not one of them reached out to her to solicit the transaction, to solicit working with her. And like she's like, some of them like I really liked. Like they did a great job and they literally never called. And I'm telling you guys, if you want to be in this business, like this is what you want to do. Like you have to call the agents. Like this is like the easiest way to get business. Okay. And I explained this why in the email, but if you think about it, okay, let's say I'm Ryan and I call Lisa. She's a realtor in my area. And I say, Lisa, I'm the best. Here's why I'm great. Here's why you should work with me. If Lisa sends Ryan a transaction and she's never worked with Ryan, she's risking her whole commission check. She has no idea how Ryan's going to perform. That's why it's so hard to get agents to send you business, because basically they are taking a leap of faith that you are going to perform at a high level when they send you that person, right? When you work on a transaction, like they've already seen you perform. You have like an audition. Okay, so you need to take advantage of that audition because it's super important. It's so much easier to get someone to work with you that sees that you're an amazing loan officer. That's why client experience and agent experience is so important to the transaction. So you have to pitch the agent, okay? And this is exactly how I pitch the agent. Super easy. Sometime either after the closing or you can schedule it on the 15th, like your closings from the 1st to the 15th or to the end of the month. You're going to want to make a call to your agent. Now, before I go into my pitch, just so we can make this interactive, does anybody have like a pitch they're willing to share? Because everybody has a different style. And I kind of want to catch my breath for a second. Anybody? All right. So all I do is I basically call the realtor and say, hey, congrats on your closing, 123 Main Street. Just wanted to touch base. I always call both agents after the transaction. Just wanted to see like how my team performed. Can you tell us like how we performed and if there's anything we could have done better? Now, if you followed like the engineered process, like, and you ask that question, what do you think like most agents say?
You did great.
Yeah. they're like, oh my God, you guys were awesome. Like you communicated all the time. When something came up, you let me know. I felt like I was always in the loop, right? So the experience, like you just created an experience, and then you're basically creating them talking you up before you're about to pitch them, which helps. So they're going to talk you up right here. Oh God, you guys were awesome. So I just transitioned. Well, hey, I'm super happy that you happy experience with our team. Curious, like we're always looking to work with great agents. Wanted to see, how your current lending partnership is going, what they're doing to help support your business and things like that. And I just have a conversation with them about what's going on with their lending partnership. A lot of times I'm like, yeah, I'm working with someone, and I just ask questions like, hey, why do you like working with this person? Oh, they're available on weekends, or like they always close my problem files, or they're paying for my leads, or whatever it is. So have conversations, and maybe you can find like points that we can do better than them. So I always have the same value proposition. Like I don't skip around. Like all I do is always talk about, hey man, we want to be a true partner in your business. Okay, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing leads, open houses, sphere of influence, dialing, we have a ton of tools that we try to help you with leads, marketing. We have in-house business development. So we really focus on, originating with you, not just asking you to send us your clients. Okay, so that's really the main part of my pitch. And then I say we focus on systematic 5-star experience and wholesale rates, which equals better deals to your clients as well as higher pre-qualifications. Okay, so I basically ask about the experience, transition to what's going on with them, and try to find pain points of how we can help them and be a better partner. One thing I'm always big about is like, you have to believe in yourself as a loan officer. Like Jeff, when a client comes to you, do you honestly believe like that client is lucky that they're working with me? Because I'm gonna fucking work my ass off on this deal. I'm gonna make sure that they have a great experience. Like if you don't feel like that, well, Jeff, do you feel like that? Because you do an awesome job. McGill?
Oh, I sorry, I didn't know if you were talking about the other Jeff. I do have that confidence. I mean, I also feel like, in doing the job and the different things that happen, sometimes it's easy for that confidence to waver. But just simply knowing that you're the expert going in and knowing that, again, you can put them in the best position possible, or at least find them a solution to get them, their ultimate goal. Like that's a big thing that's going to encourage them to work with you, or even send you referrals, after the fact. I've even had clients where, looking at financing in comparison, they just appreciate an upfront, honest, like educated answer to where they're like, hey, I'm not using you on this loan because it's a new build construction and they're giving me a 5.99% at no cost. But my son's buying a house and I'm going to have him call you. Like,
Yes.
It's things like that.
Yeah, so you build that confidence. The reason Jeff's confident or anybody on this call is confident is because you take pride in your work and you do everything possible to offer that client a great experience, right? And if you do that, you're going to start building confidence, not only to pitch your clients, but pitch agents. So everything kind of revolves back to that client experience, because if you really hold yourself to a high standard, you're going to be way more confident in going after business because you actually feel like working with me is better than anybody else out there. And I'll tell you guys, and you guys probably see this more with realtors, but like most realtors and loan officers aren't very good. Like the bar is so low. Like, so you guys, everybody on this call can blow your competition out of the water. So really feel when your clients are coming to you that they are lucky that somehow they got a hold of you, and just hold yourself to a high standard to make sure they have that great experience. Okay, so after the call, I call the realtor. Okay, one of the things I'm going to also ask them to do is I'm going to say, hey, social proof and online reputation is huge for our business. I'd love the opportunity to write you a review. Is there a particular place that you would like me to write you a review? Google, Zillow, whatever. Just so you know, Zillow does not let people in the industry write people's reviews for other people in the industry. So it's usually Google, Yelp, Realtor.com, stuff like that. So I asked them if they want me to review them anywhere. And then I also I ask them if they mind doing a review for me. Okay. The other thing, I send them an email about what we had talked about in the value proposition, maybe bring up some things they brought up on our conversation. And I also send them a text. Now, if it's a whale, like if I looked up the realtor and Kaylee, geez. If I look up the realtor and like the realtor is like a really high performing realtor, or like I just had a really good connection with the realtor, I might send them like crumble cookies or some sort of like gift, like to congratulate them on their closing. To me, like sending someone a $20 gift to get like 5 referrals a year that I make 25 grand on is like, that's what I call like high upside, low downside. Like the worst case scenario, I just sent 20 bucks and didn't get anything, but I created like a really cool experience. So I'll give you an example. I just did this the other day. This one guy sent me a deal. I actually reached out to him because he took a class with us a while back. I just texted him. I said, hey, how's your business going? Anything you need help with? Got into a conversation. He sent me a deal. That deal was $12,000 in revenue. Right? I sent him crumble cookies, and his wife's pregnant right now, and he was like, dude, thanks for sending those. My wife's stoked. Like that just created an experience, right? So like, it's up to you. Like I might not do that for everybody. I pick and choose. But like if it's a really high producing agent or someone that you really have a connection with and really want to build a partnership with, go that extra mile, because 20 bucks sending cookies or edible eats or whatever it is really goes a long way. Okay, the other thing I do is I send them a package in the mail. So I've attached what I send to them and kind of like an idea. I basically go over my value proposition and I create like a letterhead with their name on it. I sign it, and then I put like 2 things about what we're about. Okay. All right. A few days later, like maybe like a week later, I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to basically text them, and I'm basically going to say, hey, I created this digital business card for you. It's a simple image, but like literally I use this 10 to 15 times a day, which is true. I'm not lying. I use this all the time. And I also invite them to list reports. Okay. So on the email, if you're kind of going down with us, like this is literally the exact text I would send to someone. Hey, Anne-Marie, sharing with you a digital business card we created. Let us know if you want any changes. Our team uses these all the time. I also invited you to list reports if you like marketing material on any time you have a new listing go live. Have a great week, and let us know if you need any help with origination or marketing strategies. So this is what I call like the law of reciprocation. Like most loan officers don't do anything like this, and I just gave them 2 things. Digital business card, like Kaylee can make these for you in 5 minutes. It's not of the cost of the gift, but it actually is something I really use. So I'm big on creating it to them, and I send it to them, and then I invite them in list reports. If you don't know how to invite people to list reports, like it's literally the easiest thing. I'm just going to share my screen because it's so easy. Okay, the list reports login. Okay, first thing, some people have their own list reports. That's cool. If you want to use our company list reports, all it is everything's branded to Green Home Loans without an actual loan officer. So all I do is I go into list reports. I go to my agents. I click invite agent. Sometimes I can find them. I don't know. Let's see. Gary Chubb. Okay, so if I can find her, like let's say I know this is her, I click it. She's already paired with someone, but let's just say she wasn't. I just click this invite, and she's going to get an email asking her if she wants us to be a part of list reports. So all list reports it's basically whenever a listing goes live, they get a ton of marketing material regarding that listing, or if they're working open houses and they want to create like a flyer or a lot of marketing material for it, they can go in and create that in a matter of minutes. So super easy system that they can use, and we just invite it to them, and they're going to see us all the time if they accept the invite when they get new listings. Just another way to stay in front of people with value. Any questions on list reports or any comments on it? just FYI, List Reports is $150 a month, so you can always get your own, or you can use ours, and then if you eventually want to switch to your own, you can just transfer your agents to your own. Okay, the other part about this that, you know, I'm always gonna bring up is the databasing part. How are we staying in front of our agents, okay? I would recommend contacting them every 2 weeks. Hey, how's everything going? You need help with anything? Weekly email, going over rates, products, things going on in housing. You can use ours, create your own, but like, to me, like, this is a key part of your business because your agents are relying on you for education. Like, you know, I know everybody thinks people are on Facebook and Instagram all the time, but there's a lot of people that aren't. So you're telling them, hey, here's what's going on with rates. Here's the new products we got coming out. Here's what's going on with housing. You know, here's marketing that you can use. Like, it's just a good way to stay in front of them, even if they don't read it all the time. You know, like literally, if I don't know where rates is and I'm an agent, I know Reggie sends me that every Tuesday, so I could go back to my Tuesday email, right? Connect on social media. Really recommend you doing this, like, and posting regularly about you, your family, your business. Reach out on their birthday, social media target. Lastly, title. This is like something I don't think a lot of people do, and it's a really easy way to get an extra review. So contact the title company. Hey, it could be an email. You don't even have to make a phone call. Hey, Brianna, I really enjoyed this this transaction with you. I appreciate you working so hard for us. Hey, can you do me a favor? I'm sorry. I basically say, hey, I really enjoyed working with you. Would you like me to review you anywhere online? And then if you could do me a huge favor and review me online, here's my link. I'd really appreciate it. So if you do the reviews correctly, like, to be honest with you, you can get like 3 to 4 reviews per transaction. Title, agents, and client. And sometimes there's 2 clients. So it's just cool. Then you can create testimonials. Kaylee can create those testimonials for you. You can post them online, and you're creating social proof that you're a good loan officer. Okay, so that's kind of the checklist of what I do every single month and during the transaction. So questions, comments, anything I can help.
Hey, Reg, I have a question about List Reports.
Yep,
Is that it's free to the agents, right?
correct, yep.
Okay. Is there a limit you can have where they raise that 150, or is it unlimited?
It's unlimited. So
Okay.
they're gonna get, like I said, basically a ton of marketing materials, anytime they have a listing go live. A lot of times when you're doing an open house, it might not be your listing. So what you can do is you can create, marketing material for somebody else's listing. It only takes a couple minutes. And then they also have like a weekly thing. It's like shareables that they can send, like marketing stuff that they can use on socials, newsletters, stuff like that.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and List Reports login is in the resource section. But if you have any issues with List Reports, just let me know. Like I said, we have loan officers that use their own, totally cool, or you can use ours. It's $150 a month. Just if you use ours, we're never calling your agents in that. Like, I'm never going through List Reports and trying to contact your agents. It's pretty easy to transfer them also if you end up getting your own. I just recommend it's another touch point. All right, anything else, guys?
Reggie,
Yeah.
when you're sending gifts to realtors, like crumble cookies, or like you really want like those big fish that you want to keep working with, are you just asking them for their home address, or like are you sending it to their brokerage where I feel like they never walk in anyway? Like, how are you getting that personal touch actually sent to them specifically without sounding like a weirdo?
Good question. So first thing, there's a lot of like cloud brokerages where like I might just choose not to send it to them, because like a cloud brokerage, it might not even really be an office. It might just be like a desk. So that's where you pick and choose on who you're going to send it to. Like I just closed a deal with Heather Openshaw. She does like about 70 million per year between listing and buying. I used to have an MSA in her office, so I sent her one because I know her team's there. And then the other guy I sent it to earlier this week, he had a Google page, and the Google page had an address. And on your Google page, a lot of times Google gives like a picture of what that looks like, what the office looks like. and it was a house. So I kind of knew it was his house, so I just sent it to him. If you know they work in a, like, give you an example, all KWs basically have physical locations. If I send it to KW Integrity First, even if they don't go in all the time, someone's gonna call them and say, hey, just so you know, someone sent you cookies. Like, it's more that than them actually eating the cookies, right? You know, the cookies are irrelevant. It's just showing that you did it is more
Fred?
relevant to me.
I have a way that I do this, and I do it around Christmas time. I think Matt and I talked about this because I am the master of getting addresses from people.
Yeah.
So I'm based in Dallas, but I work around the whole state of Texas. And the way that I look at it is how well do I know this person? Like, because at Christmas time, I will text because I keep track of all of the agents that were listing agents, buyer agents, the title escrow officer if I like them, and I will send a text message usually around Thanksgiving. That's something to the effect of like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but we did XYZ Main Street together, and I want to send you a Christmas card. Do you mind if I have your home address? Just because it usually gets lost in the sauce and at your office." Most people are like, "Absolutely, I'd love to be on your Christmas list." But if it's not around the holidays, a great way to do it is I really enjoyed working with you so much on this transaction. I really wanted to send you a gift, but I have found that if I send it to your office, it gets eaten up or it gets snatched up pretty quickly. I want to make sure it gets to you and your family. Do you have an address that I can send it directly to you so it gets to you and it doesn't have to go through a middleman? A lot of times if someone finds out that you're going to send them something, they want to send their address. They're usually pretty okay with it. It's not as creepy as you think it is. Now, if you're a dude that's trying to get the address of a young lady realtor, you might find a little bit of a kind of a stopgap there. However, most of the times, if you've done a really good job of calling on Tuesdays, like, hey, I'm just giving you a Tuesday update call, letting you know the appraisal's been ordered, everything's in. I've really enjoyed this transaction with you. Do you need anything from me? By the end of the transaction, you've at least talked to them 3 or 4 times, and you can say, I've really loved working with you so much. I wanted to send you something just for Easter, but I don't want it to go directly to your office because I don't want to get lost. Do you mind if I send it directly to your home? Is that okay? Most of the time, people are like, yeah, for sure. And they will send it right to you. I've gotten to the point where I will have agents email me if they move. Hey, Rachel, I just want to share that that you have my new address. I've moved, I got a new house, or we moved apartments or something. So it does feel weird asking because it's kind of like you're asking a stranger. But if you build that rapport early on, it is very natural to ask for it later on.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you're doing Tuesday calls to your agents, you had like 5 conversations with them already, so. But I agree with Rachel also. You pick and choose. If you're a 40-year-old guy and it's like a 20-year-old realtor, like a woman realtor, maybe you don't do it on them. You pick and choose on how you present yourself, because you don't want to come off as creepy. That's for sure. Any other questions, comments, maybe stuff that you guys do during the transaction to create that great experience, or checklist that you do at the end of the month to make sure you're staying in front of all these clients, agents, and doing everything you can to get more referrals, more repeat business?
I got a quick question, Reggie. It's kind of off the topic, but somewhere in this vein. I've referred this particular agent probably 10 deals. He's never even referred me. So how much priority do you put on meeting insurance agents? Like, hey, let's work together. I literally, since I've been doing loans, never got a referral from an insurance agent. I can tell you, I've lined their pockets.
Well, first thing, insurance agents always remind me of loan officers. So when you're a loan officer, have you ever heard a realtor say, hey, I send all my deals to said loan officer and they never send me back?
Right.
Well, if you're a referral loan officer, you can't work with one realtor and make a business. It's the math doesn't work, right? So you're only going to have a certain amount of people that come to you first. So it's not like you have a ton of deals to send back. So to me, and that's the reason we created more of a value proposition to support people's business, is because it's not realistic that I can send people a ton of deals back. But what I could do is help you originate to get more deals. So honestly, I think it's a hard expectation for an insurance agent that's probably working with a ton of loan officers to get you deals back.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So, and check out the comments, like, the one thing is, you guys, we're a partner in an insurance company, like, insurance company, and I used to be a farmer's agent during the downturn. I try to do insurance and loans at the same time, which I feel like you really have to have a singular focus to be good at anything. So I'm doing insurance. When I close an insurance deal, do you guys know how much an average insurance agent makes on a deal?
$100.
It's like $50. Like this was like 2007, 2008. 50 or $60 is what I got. Life insurance deal, I closed one of those, I got 300. Okay, it's mainly like building a book of business of small amounts that you get a ton of like repeat or renewals on. So like,
Residual.
that's why it's really hard to be an insurance agent if you start at like 40, because the whole purpose is like get into insurance when you're young, you don't have a lot of expenses, you can build your book, and eventually you can make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month, but it was all like built up over time. Like they don't make that much per transaction.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody else? Comments, things you guys are doing, anything else in your business that you guys want to talk about?
No, I was just gonna say, I've been trying to incorporate just the video text to the clients, like even with the clear to close, or just, we got that approval, just because, doing it on video, they see me now, I'm not just somebody on the phone. And everybody's enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I actually do videos on all of my like automatic arrive ones. I basically created a video and put it at the top. So I do it automatically, but if you want to do something more personal, Zach, just keep in mind, if it's like a longer video, a lot of times it's going to transmit on the other side, kind of either like it's going to be super small or like staticky. So you can always use BombBomb. BombBomb just creates a link, you put it in a text, and there's going to be a thumbnail that they can hit and just watch it.
Yep. I try to just keep it 30 seconds at the most.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, anything else before we roll? If anybody has any questions on stuff like this, I try to make it as detailed as possible in the email, but always happy to help if you need help on this. But if this is too much for you, just you got to do something, like start somewhere, and then you can build stuff like this. Maybe this isn't totally your style, but you got to be taking these steps to take a client transaction and build multiple other things off it. So the law of compounding, it's really how you grow your business.
I do have one more
Alright,
thing
guys.
really fast, really fast,
Yeah.
really fast, I promise. I know I'm long-winded, but I've been doing loans for 10 years. 10 years, guys. And I did a loan my first 2 years in the business for a woman. Her last name was Jenkins. It was her and her husband. And I did their mortgage. I was referred by a realtor. And then I added them on Instagram and Facebook because I loved chatting with them so much. Again, I did not know them beforehand. They're older than I was. I think I was 25 at the time, and they had children that were teenagers, so they were a lot older than I was. We really didn't have a lot in common, but I added them. She was a school teacher, so was he. So I added them, we had a wonderful friendship, and I would like their posts and I'd share their stuff. And I had a little tracker for my past closings where I would make sure at least once a year, I would interact with them on Facebook so that I would remain constant for them. They came back to me 2 years later when she got a job in San Antonio. So she sold her house in Dallas. I was able to refer that to an agent. And then I referred her to one of my agents in San Antonio. I got their mortgage then as well. And then they sold their house in San Antonio another 2 years later, and they bought in Midland. And then the husband sadly passed away during COVID. It was really, really sad. And she sold that house and she decided that she was just going to get an apartment. But I was able to refer the realtor every single time that they moved, and I did every single one of their mortgages. Now her daughter, who is like, I think she's like 24, 25, came to me about a month and a half ago, and was like, "Hey, Rachel, I know that you do real estate and mortgages now. I want you to do both of them for us. Please don't refer us out. We want to work with you. My mom loves you. She thinks you're awesome." I have never met her mother in person, so it's all been on social media. So I met them. I got them pre-approved, her and her boyfriend at the time, and we found them a house. The house is on number 2. The street name is Easy, so they're buying 2 Easy Street, which I think is really funny. And the boyfriend reached out to me when we did the pre-approval, and he said that he had taken a loan out to buy an engagement ring. Luckily, their DTI was fine. He made sure that it was okay. And we're supposed to close on that house on Monday. And we just got our clear to close like an hour ago. And on Wednesday evening, he drove to the house and he proposed to her on their front porch, their new front porch of their house. And all because I did a mortgage referred to me from a realtor like 9 years ago. I have been paid on that one deal now. I have probably made $45,000 worth of commissions. And all it was that I was kind, I was nice, I was transparent. The people that I worked with thought I was ethical. I made sure to add them on social media so that they could see that I just did not want to treat them like a number. Stuff like that matters, and it humanizes you, because as we go into the future and AI and call centers become even bigger, we are going to be looked at as a voice on the phone and a voice or someone across an email. You have got to humanize yourself, guys. Make yourself a real person to these people, because you never know the dividends that it will pay later. So that is just a little bit of a, on Monday, I will be closing another mortgage from them. And of course, I'm the realtor on this transaction just because now I do real estate, but I'm going to get paid twice on Monday from that deal. But also, like, I'll be invited to their wedding. Like, she's already been like, "Oh my God, we're so excited." And who knows how many people will have from that. So just be kind. And every time you talk to people on the phone, remember, you're not just their loan officer, you're a trusted professional that could be their friend one day, because it really does matter.
No, appreciate that story. I totally agree.
That's great.
I totally agree. So take your craft seriously, hold yourself to a high standard. And like, it's not only just like the commission that you're getting, you build an awesome relationship in your life. So, I mean, you get twofold, right?
Yeah, I got the text message on Wednesday night from the wife, or the fiance now, and she was like, "Oh my God, Rachel." And I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Like, I was thinking the worst, right? And she
Yeah.
sends me a picture of him on one knee, and it's like dusk in front of the house, and she's in tears. So I was one of the first people that she texted that she had just gotten engaged, and I've probably met her a handful of times. And stuff like that, it reminds us that we are not just random pumping out numbers. I make the joke on, if you follow me on social media, like, I hate the idea of like hustle hard, they're just buyers. Like, I really hate that mentality, because they are people and they deserve to be treated like, individuals are making a huge transaction. Every time you get on the phone with them, remind yourself that, like, these people trust me and they should trust me because I'm ethical and I'm good at my job. It really does change the tone of how you talk to people.
No, totally agree. Totally agree. Anybody else before we roll? All's about the hustle mentality.
Well, I mean, you can do
It's
both,
not.
right?
No hustle mentality.
Like, I don't get what. Like,
Reggie knows how I feel about that. I was the high heel hustler for a long time, and then I realized, man, this is not exactly healthy.
Well, to each their own.
But y'all have a great day, guys.
All right, guys, have an awesome day. I'll send out the recording if you need it. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.